What is your actual job title?
My job title is foreman. What that is I watch over the track of homes that I work on, and I usually rough the houses, which is wiring them. I have people that I have to watch after that work under me. I usually am in charge of about 2 to 3 tracks at a time, and I make sure that the houses get wired properly and pass inspection.
Now, what kind of company do you work for?
Electric. They're licensed for only residential, but they would do commercial jobs sometimes. So it's basically electrical contractor, and they had their own building and a bunch of trucks that they send guys out to.
So let's say like I'm about to graduate high school and I didn't want to, or I wasn't sure about going to school for to become an electrician. Could you you could get your foot in the door somehow? Like there's places that'll give you like an entry level position. You kind of just work your way up.
Yeah, most residential companies they'll do that. They'll hire you on. You'll be somebody's helper, and they teach you the trade. It takes about 8 months to learn how to wire a house by yourself. And at a commercial company, they'll still hire you too, but you're hired more as a laborer. So you'll find yourself digging a lot of holes or taping boxes up, just doing all the grunt work. But that's when you first start. You can choose to go to school there.
Did you specifically go to school for that, or did you just jump right in and start getting experience?
Right out of high school, my dad's an electrical engineer, so I didn't really have any direction on what I wanted to do with my life. So he was looking in the paper and he said, hey, this electrical company is hiring this contractor. So I went and did that, and I actually started work up there. So I started working there, and I just kept getting experience from it and jumped to other companies and eventually landed at for 17 years.
So you basically got that entry level job and then you just worked your way up and got more experience and stuff?
There was times when I wanted to know more, so I went and bought books on electricity and learned what it was and how it moved and what AC current was. And in between I did start a commercial job, and I was there for 3 months. You go there as pretty much a laborer because nobody in commercial wants to teach you anything because they go to school for it. They expect you to go to school too.
Do you know anybody that did go to school? I mean, do you need is it like a 1-year school or 2 years, or how does it typically work? Is it a special type of school?
It's a school to get your journeyman license.
Yeah, I've seen that on people's resumes and stuff, like talking about journeyman.
A lot of people confuse that with job titles and stuff, but a journeyman is actually a license.
What specifically made you be an electrician? Because I know you had mentioned your dad was an electrical engineer.
Yeah, so my dad was an electrical engineer, and when I got out of high school, I didn't really have any direction. I didn't really want to go to college, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. All I knew was I didn't want to work at like Target anymore or work for some pizza place, and so construction was a pretty good deal for me because I wasn't really a people person. I didn't like the retail part. I didn't like handling customers. So when you're out there doing construction, the only people you really have to answer to are your foreman or your boss. And in my case, being the foreman, I only saw my boss every other week when I was picking up my check. So I would go get materials when I needed them from the supplier. And if there was somebody that they hired, I would take them under my wing and teach them.
Now, what's the best part of your job?
Best part of my job is the fact that I don't have to really talk to customers. I can just go out there, and if I work at my own pace, it's got to be a fast pace because the employer wants things done quickly. But I can work at my own pace, and people, they, when you're doing a service call or a remodel, people kind of give you a certain respect when you're doing stuff for them. And you make it happen, and they're happy with it. It looks good. Or going into somebody's house that says, "Oh, this hasn't worked in 4 months," and then 2 minutes later, I get it working. That's a
cool.
Good feeling too. That's the best part of the job for me.
Now, is there any skill or ability somebody should have if they wanted a job like yours?
They just have to be able to lift a good amount of weight, because rolls of wire, they're not light. It's copper. There's 250 feet of it in one roll. The bigger wire, they'll get them in like 500-foot rolls, and you got to be able to lift that up. And then hanging a panel, those can get pretty heavy too. Keep up that endurance too, because pulling wire, it gets heavy, and walking up and down a ladder all day. So it's definitely physically enduring. You'll be swinging a hammer a lot because you have to staple the wires to the stud, and there's no staple gun for that. You staple them with a hammer.
Really? I didn't know that. I mean, I always did kind of wonder like what they use.
They're heavy duty staples, and you use a hammer to install them. I know when I first started, the guy, he said, okay, staple these wires down, and I was like, okay, give me the staple gun. And he just looked at me and laughed. But as far as if you can go there, show up every day, that's one thing that you got to do, show up every day on time. You listen to your foreman, and even though you might feel that you're doing all the work, or you feel that you're doing all the bad work that they don't want to do, it's for a reason. Usually you just have to be trained, and it's repetition, it's muscle memory, so you can get the feeling of it, the action down. But if you show up every day and you work, even if you're working slower, but if you work all the time, and stick with it, you'll do good. You'll eventually get it down. You'll stop hitting your fingers with the hammer, and things will start clicking. It's all about showing up. Don't get discouraged, because sometimes foremen, they'll try and knock you down, or not knock you down, but you're the green guy.
Yeah, they're gonna bark at you a little bit.
They'll pick on you, but that happens everywhere. But I mean, you stick with it, and you can do good. You can make some good money doing it.
So now you said that most of your jobs are new home builds, so they don't have an owner yet, or the owner hasn't moved in yet. Do they have power going to them though, or no?
Some places they'll have temporary power, and that's just the panel. But a lot of places they don't have that. And you don't know if it's going to work until they trim it out with an outlet or a switch. So you'll never know. But definitely before the house gets turned over to a homeowner, we do go in there and we hot check the house. So we plug a tester into everything and turn on all the lights. And if something doesn't work, usually the foreman has to fix it. So another part of my job would be hot checking. So after the house gets power and it's all done, I have to go back and make sure that all the outlets and switches and everything work.